What's going on, guys, and welcome to a very special Rabbits Used Cars. You know, everybody's been like, we're gonna do AMA, we're gonna do AMA. You know, you got like 109,000 subscribers now. We're gonna do AMA, Jesus Christ, we're gonna do AMA, Rob. You forgot about us, Rob? I got my questions, Rob. We were planning something special, and we had to wait for everyone's schedules to interlock. So, and by very special, he doesn't know what to do with his hands. Bless his heart. But on Vinwiki, they make him sit on them. So, down.
Okay, thank you.
Down. Not in your pants. Not again. No. Got my good friend, fellow Vinwiki brother, Travis Bell.
Hey, Robert.
Hi.
That's
Hi, Travis.
first time caller, long time listener.
Big fan.
But like I said, when we were talking about doing an AMA, and people like going, "Are you guys actually friends?" We are actually.
Off camera, we're nice to each other.
Well,
ish.
sometimes. But and we met each other through Ed and Vinwiki, and we've been friends for quite some time. And
it almost sounds like a love story. You know, Ed introduced us, and
yeah,
it's like, never been the same.
What was the name of that site? So anyhow, but I mean, you know, and people ask all the time, like, how do you know this guy or how do you know that guy? Everybody who appears on Vinwiki are not just friends, and they, you know, some people I couldn't pick about two people if they banged on this door right now.
I know one for a fact that probably hates my guts.
Moving on. So, and we get, you know, how are you friends with Ed, and how are you, and me? Your story is kind of fun, but you know, mine's just from the Cannonball Run done. But how did you become friends with Ed?
So Ed was my very first calling guest on a radio show.
Yeah.
And you know, first time caller, long time listener.
You
know, and interviewed him about the Cannonball.
Sure.
And it's like, Rob, I bet you got some interesting stories. You
Sure.
want to come down to my creepy warehouse and shoot them in the wintertime, in the cold.
So if you hear the original Vinwiki stories and Ed,
the first 100.
Yeah. Shot in creepy warehouse and very echoey, like, that's going to, Matt, the cameraman's going to hate that.
Is there any way you can talk and not breathe?
Yes, yeah. But so now it's moved on, and Ed's probably one of the greatest guys. I mean, he's hilarious.
Ed is an awesome guy. Ed's that guy that makes you feel smarter when you talk to him.
Yeah, well, his 50-cent words are way above my 4-cent words, and it's just. But here's another thing: did you ever get a rare piece of Ed Bolian memorabilia in the mail?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I got a plastic packet from beef jerky that Ed held in his hands. We have photo evidence, a COA with this.
Who'd you get that from?
Travis Matthew Bell.
Man, I tell you what, there's no other way to waste $7.75 of priority mail than send Rob Pitts a half-eaten bag of beef jerky from Ed Bolian. But hey, I mean,
I have it in a glass case in my home.
Yeah, and it's we've had a lot of fun, and people are like, hey, you know, how do you know Rob, this, that, and other? And so here we are, and Rob did say it the right way. It's now time to ask him anything, and
they did.
There's some pretty deep ones, but we'll if you're ready. You got anything else to say to the rabbit in the room?
Send it. Yo, and we'll be shooting a video with this too, guys. Obviously,
we'll get back to
that. We'll get to the IndyCar. So,
all right. So Jay Spencer, not Jimmy.
Jay.
It says, Mr. Rob. Guess he doesn't know you very well. What is the best?
That makes me feel so old,
yeah.
Mr. Rob.
Or if you're overseas.
Yeah.
What is the best life lesson your dad taught you as a kid? And for those of you that don't know, when Robert's dad, I call you Robert because we joke about it all the time. When Rob's dad passed away, I was going to come down and shoot a couple, but I tell you what, one of the greatest videos that you had is after the service, and it's hard to say, man, this man taught me everything, but lay it on us. What is one of the best life lessons that he says your daddy, but and I know you call him daddy too.
Well, I'm from the South. I get it natural.
Yeah, Earnhardt Jr. calls his dad daddy. So.
Diddy. Damn it, Diddy. But, and I have said that, you know, it's crazy. My dad growing up, he was very strict. And that's the thing, like we cut up a lot the older I got. But growing up, my dad was on my ass about everything. And I really like why you got to be like this? But looking back now, I appreciate that because that built in a lot of life lessons and a lot of things that I handle in everyday business still. Funny stories with dad, probably hands down one of the proudest son to father moment. And you have to think about it. Me and my dad were 20 years apart, which is scary. I mean, we grew up together. And I mean,
And that's the thing with me too, because I have a 26-year-old daughter, and she was more my best friend
right.
than my kid,
And that,
which sometimes
but
makes for
the funnest, I guess, it almost felt like a big brother taking up for you moment was the story about when I drove the Mustang and the rent-a-cops came up to us.
Yeah.
And my dad, they sent me home because I was driving around in a car with a dealer tag on it. And, the cop said something like, how much you want for that car? And I told him it ain't for sale. He said, well, it's got a dealer tag on it. I mean, I'm a little 16. And keep in mind, when I was 16 years old, I looked like I was 12. And I went home. And my dad was in the garage. And he's like, get your ass back in that car. I told him what happened. And we got back up there. And my dad chewed that guy's ass out. And I'm just thinking, like, get him, Dad. But I'm thinking, like, Daddy's going to jail. But no, he didn't. And, he said, you don't let people tell you what to do. He said, you were not in the wrong there.
So in
that's probably
that happened how many years ago?
Oh God, I was
25.
Well, I'm 42 now, so.
Well, you were 22 with 20 years experience.
Exactly.
So, but the things that stick in is that one moment in that one car that you could probably remember the smell of that car, and you're like, man,
it was a Ford, so definitely oil smoke. But you got to understand that. It's just things like that. I don't sit in a Corvette and not think about my dad.
Sure.
I mean, because he was a diehard Corvette guy. So there's so many things. But that one moment, that was hilarious. And that was just one of those moments like, heck yeah, he's all right.
All right. So we're moving right along. And these answers may be longer than the day is long, but...
I get a little long-winded.
All right. And hands are down. Good job. You don't look like you're getting held up anymore. So... Richard Branch Company, LLC. Don't know what Richard does, but he has a tree next to his name. I'm sure there are many, but are there any particular vehicles that you have passed on and still regret to this day? Didn't pick it up, came on a good day?
There actually is two that just stick out in my head. I'll kind of scan through these questions.
Sure.
I might have cheated a little bit.
Oh.
I'll scan through them. There's two that come to mind. There's one car that I have tried my damnedest to buy, and every time I found it, it's eluded me.
And it is?
Actually, it's a McBurney Daytona, but it's a...
Oh, yeah.
So break it down for people that don't know, I'll save you the Google. It was the car used in Miami Vice, which was supposed to be a 1973 Ferrari 365 GTB4 Spider Daytona.
Yep.
It was actually like a 78 Corvette with a Ferrari Daytona body that was made by a guy named Tom McBurney in Florida. He made about 50 of them, got the shit suit out of them, yada, 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 the rest is history. I love that car. Wire wheels. It's like the perfect Ferrari because it's a Corvette. I love it. And, the thing is, the cars have quite a following because obviously a real Ferrari Daytona is 600K up.
Yes.
But the thing that's cool about it is, and Jerry Seinfeld said it best, he said, you know how you can tell the difference between a McBurney Daytona and a real Ferrari Daytona just almost instantly. And he goes, how's that? He goes, if it's still running, it's a McBurney.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the thing. Like, they were horrible cars.
Sure.
But I love that car. And I got this close, like sending transport. Deal falls through.
Yep.
And it's like the one that got away. And now that car can be had. I have offered to pay through the nose to get it. He's had my number, and I'll still call probably once every 6 weeks, just touch base.
Stopping this story to start another story. Who sends you them every time he finds them?
Travis Matthew Bell.
I find these damn things, and I will say, Rob, this one's got your name written all over it, and you're like, man, and it's just it's either some idiot has built it on something wrong, or it's running around on a straight 6 Datsun or something bizarre.
Well, because they build them different ways.
Yeah.
I love the C3 platform ones. I'm really picky. I want the ones with the right dash in it. I mean, really, the real McBurney cars are really close looking cars. I'll be honest with you. odds are, unless you just know the little fine details, you really can't pick it out.
Sure.
And of course, I want to build something, make something wild out of it anyway. But maybe one day I'll find it. It's
So
my
was there-
unicorn.
Was there another one also, or is that it?
Oh, talk about the ones that got away.
Is that I know that's the Grand Slam of like Denny style.
Yeah,
That
but
was it.
like Denny's. Another one that I'm kind of kicked myself. I didn't need it, but it was more of a want, like a sentimental thing.
Didn't need it. There's a want.
Exactly.
Continue.
We'll get back on that. But I had a 48, or my grandfather rather, had a 48 Chevrolet convertible. It was actually the last car he owned before he passed.
Sure.
And me and my grandfather were really tight. I found that car for sale. The only thing is, it's a 90s street rod in every sense of the word. And it was a beautiful 48 Chevrolet convertible, had a LT1 fuel injected in it,
Sure.
tan leather guts. He sold the car. It went to Louisiana. Well, it was in Hurricane Katrina, and the car had been flooded. And they patched it up, and they got it decent. And it popped up for sale. And I went and looked at it, and I come this close. And I'm like,
And this is your grandfather's car.
This is my grandfather's car. But like, I don't know. I mean, I talked myself out of it, but I still think about that car a lot.
For me, and I'm not saying that I'm jealous of the way you grew up with and the family in which you grew up. My family is not mechanically inclined. Like, if the recliner is broke, somebody has got duct tape on it. Like, if they're not taking it to the upholstery shop. I didn't grow up with a dad like yours, and when you put your video out, I thought it was super cool, and we all understand how much Mr. Pitts, as some people called him, meant to you. So my thing, and going back to that of us just being friends, and people just like, oh my gosh, it's because I'm from Indianapolis, and I always try to wear something other than what I got on today, but something that'll remind us from home, and I'll have a Roslyn Bakery shirt on or something, and that people are like, oh my God, I used to have. It was bakery that went out of business in Indianapolis, but they were famous, but just being Joe Nobody, and which as much as we are, we're just idiots that talk for a living. What is the weirdest or strangest place someone recognized you? I mean, and I've got one that's a doozy.
Yeah, I've heard this one. So, one of the scariest, two scary moments. One, I went to Target.
All right.
And I went into
Target.
I went, sponsored. Shameless plug.
Yeah, Target.
I walked in the Target, and I need to use restrooms. I walk in the restroom, and I walk past the stall, and I hear my voice. And so I'm like, run to the urinal right quick, do what I need to do, and like run out the door. And because I want to get out of there before a dude comes out from receiving a fax to want to take a selfie with me in the bathroom.
Dropping the Cosbys off at the pool.
Yeah, exactly. That's just taking the Browns to the Super Bowl. But
there's 2 edits for Matt. Going back.
Matt's like, check.
Camp. Let's see the time frame on
that.
Yeah.
So
anyhow, this you break camp out of the John.
I break camp and I bolt, and I never ran into him, so that worked out. The next thing.
All right. So for those of you that don't know, this gentleman was probably using the restroom, watching his phone on YouTube. And
he was. You want him saying? I don't want to question myself when he's like this.
Yeah.
If he washed his hands or not.
Right. So he turns out of the stall, and Rob's sitting there using the restroom. So
using the restroom.
Continue.
Shaking the dew off my lily, But the second one was kind of weird.
We are in the South. That's some South stuff.
That is some
All right,
South
go ahead.
stuff.
Sorry, we promised we wouldn't talk over the top of each other too.
So the second one was kind of weird. I was actually at a car show, and this guy came up to me, and he walked around, and I'm used to it. I get a lot of guys at car shows, obviously, that come up to you. We'll take a selfie, or we'll shoot the bull for a little bit and walk around. I love it. I really do.
Sure.
This one time I got creeped out a little bit. I had a guy sitting Indian style beside me. Like, he followed me around, and then like we stopped. We weren't talking anymore, but he just sat. Like he was like.
So this is where looks like a good place to have a seat.
Yeah, and like I'm fixing to move my car, bud. You might want to.
Right.
That one was a little strange.
And he just recognized you and wanted to be that guy. All right, so mine, which is the weirdest thing on earth, just being on Vinwiki and then hanging out with Rob, and we're just pals and tend to get in trouble with Kobe and Matt and whoever else ends up in the room.
And Dan.
Dan, man,
Dammy
I'll tell you
Dan.
what, Road Trip Dan. I mean, you know Dan's initials are Double D?
I love it.
All right. So needless to say, my friend who will not let me mow my own yard.
Selfie moment.
Actually, it's taking a video.
Oh,
Okay, well, it worked.
well. So anyhow, my friend Mike Raymer, he will not let me mow my own yard. And you've been to my house. I've got 4 acres in the back, and he says I mow my yard like Ray Charles. So of course I'm, doing this, and I can't mow to save my life. But his father had also passed away this year, and I never met Mr. Raymer, but he's your friend. You make sure I was coming to your father's funeral too. But so needless to say, his mom has been on the receiving line all day, and she is standing next to the casket of this man that she has loved her whole life. And Mike Raymer's like, hey, let me go up here and meet your mom, or I want to introduce you to mom. And so I walk around and I wait my turn, and Mrs. Raymer, standing there or sitting there, and she goes, Travis, I just love your video about the police car on Vinwiki. And I'm like, oh, we are at your husband's funeral, and you recognize my dumbass from saying full code 7 times in 14 minutes, but
Full code.
full code. There's 3 full code, full code.
Full code.
There's something.
Yeah.
All right. So we people, and we're down to earth. Like people. What's weird though is my office is behind my business is behind my house, so people will plug in the business and say, can we stop by and see? And most of the time it's not a problem. Sometimes I do see some YouTube. We are not those people that say, do not come to our house, but you might not want to come to our house. Well, his doesn't have a foundation, but it's still cool.
It's still cool.
Yeah. All right. So there are some people that would like to know where we can see the RUC's inventory.
Okay, so this is a question I've been wanting to address for quite some time. And I've told a few people, nobody gets it yet.
At least they're working.
They are, at least they're working.
They showed up to work today.
Travis is such a glass half full guy.
Yeah. I mean, all right, go ahead.
Where else the RUC inventory? Well, rabbitsusedcars.com will launch. But I'll be honest with you, we're winding down. The only catch is I'm going to be leaving soon. Now, don't fret. We already filmed up, so we're not going to miss a beat. But I'll be leaving soon for like 16 weeks. So we've kind of sold down inventory right now. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't want to launch a website with a double handful of cars on it. So, and we've been fine tuning and tweaking it and things like that along the way. So we're doing nothing but making it better. And I'll be honest with you, as fast as I sell cars.
Yeah, you rotate so much stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the last one I just sold was 8 hours.
And I hit you up the
That's
other day
long-term.
on that other truck, and I said, how many? You said 15 hours on that one.
Yeah, it's
it's
insane. And then the best place to catch them is on Instagram. Honestly, that's my life as I'm going by. So that's the best place. If you see something, shoot me a message.
The one thing that I didn't like about your new website, when you log onto it, it says, welcome, you got mail. You might change that.
Maybe.
Just saying.
It works really good off dial-up.
Uh-huh. All right. Hold on. Let me act like I know what I'm doing. Oh, yeah. This one I like, too. So another guest asks, what is your what modern reinterpretation of a classic do you like or entrust to an original model of the original one? Like, so without me jumbling that up to crap, the new Ford Bronco. Wait. So we already went through this though.
Yeah.
Bronco Sport is, but the new Ford Bronco, and Tyler put it on his channel. I mean, it looks like there's a spaghetti monster underneath the hood.
Yes.
And but I mean, there was a thing you and I talked about when the modern rendition of the retro Ford Thunderbird came out. That wasn't that bad.
I like those cars. Mm-hmm. I really did. And it was a mixed review. I actually owned one for a brief period of time. And, I had a good friend that had one. We actually had it in a video here. But they're neat cars. The only thing with the retro redesigns, the only ones that really, in my opinion, took off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think SSR,
Yeah.
Everything, the PT Cruiser,
Yeah.
But a real successful Mustang Challenger Camaro.
Yeah.
And of those three, and it's probably going to shock you, I like the Challenger. I think they did the best job
Right.
bringing the old with the new.
So at what point, now that the Challenger, and they rename it everything under the sun, the Challenger this, the Challenger that, the Hellcat,
Oh, Dodge marketing is
right.
f***ing epic.
At what? How epic? So but at what point in time do you think that
This
time
isn't Sunday school, you know that.
No, we're in the South. I mean, you guys kiss your mom with that.
This is with tongue.
I've heard. So at one point in time, though, do you think it's time? And this is a follow-up question for Dodge to quit calling the Challenger 14 different things. And I mean, you got to think when like the Transformers Bumblebee Camaro came out, and oh my gosh, that's on its 14th facelift on that thing.
Mm.
Dodge it still looks like that damn Challenger that they had.
Well, and that's the problem. Like they created, you know, they caught lightning in a bottle with the first one. Now what's the next one going to look like?
Yeah, and don't fix it if it ain't broke, kind of thing.
Yeah, I guess so. They'll just keep putting bigger motors in it and call it a day.
Yeah. So I had an SRT8 Magnum and loved them, but I mean they didn't last very long. So you got police here in South Carolina.
Yeah, we'll have that on this side of town.
Okay, so breaking news: Rob got a new pair of sunglasses. Rob, did you don those down on your dome?
Sorry.
Rob's that guy that'll come into a club wearing a pair of sunglasses. And
I'm that guy.
But it says Chris, and it looks like
there's only two types of people that wear sunglasses in a building: the blind and assholes.
Yeah.
2020. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Moving on.
So my wife made me get readers because I'd be looking at this going. So there's a cat that likes your Oakleys, and it says, what other quality items do you believe in and buy?
I think that was an ambulance.
At least it didn't stop here.
You know what though? If it's an ambulance, you got a chance. In a hearse, it's got to be worse. It's always my theory.
You one of those people that pray when you see the helicopter?
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I didn't think so either.
Pray that it doesn't land on me.
Yeah. There was an ER episode. See, now we can't do this.
See, this is what happens.
So
anyway, Oakleys.
So Oakleys, what other quality items do you believe in and buy once in a while, or other things that you'll?
I've got certain things that I'm really brand whatever on, but I mean, and there's some things that I think are overkill. I'm a big fan of good shoes. I'm weird about shoes.
Me too. I'm
weird about
granted,
it.
we're not wearing the most expensive ones today.
No, but just a good comfortable pair, like good shoes, like a good shoe. I've always been kind of weird about that. Not
Is there
really.
Anything? Watch was $28 or what?
Yeah, this was. I got it from the flea market.
But decent sunglasses always, and I'm a Ray-Ban guy too. I've got 4 or 5 pairs in 15 different cars. But other than that, I mean, it's just, and you've always been very down to earth, and I mean, it's a trailer park upbringing. Come on, there he is.
Can't help it. It's the single wide in me.
Understand. All right. What's your favorite driving road? Do you have one in and around here? Now everybody will scream "Tail of the Dragon" and all this stuff.
Oh God.
And whatever else. But I mean.
So do you want to know something funny? I have never been on the Tail of the Dragon.
I have 2 times in my Holden Ute, and if you have no idea what a Holden Ute is, there is a phone in your pocket, and that will knock you out.
Google is a powerful tool.
Quicker than I can explain it, but it is a 443 horsepower rear-wheel drive
El Camino.
El Comanche.
It's an Australian El Camino.
Yeah, but it's the thing about the Tail of the Dragon for me, and it's a driving road, and it's awesome, and whatever else, but it is so crowded and so loaded with a lot of Harley Davidsons. You know, man, and this is going to be Slaughter City for Travis, but you know, when you go to Comic-Con and you get all these people dressed up like Zorro and Iron Man, and maybe not Zorro, but Han Solo and all this stuff, right?
These guys don't know who the hell Zorro is. Like, what?
Han Solo, Iron Man, Comic-Con, right? And that's called cosplay.
Yeah.
Man, Harley Davidson riders are the biggest cosplayers you've ever met in your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyhow,
you're going to piss somebody off on that. Somebody's wearing their Harley Davidson a Daytona Beach T-shirt.
Yeah,
steaming
they had
pissed.
to go get the Daytona Beach shirt with this, and had to go to whatever, and the Maui shirt and whatever else. But
Somebody's sitting in some assless chaps, madder than hell right now.
And is there anything in and around here that in Greenberg that we don't, being from the Yankee side of me, that says, oh my God, you come down here and drive this road?
Yes. I tell you, South Carolina's got some decent roads, decent driving roads.
Yeah.
But I love going up North Carolina, Blue Ridge Parkway, or going up in Tennessee, Smoky Mountain
Sure.
Parkway, things like that. Always some fun roads going up 40, all that. That's like, I think that's why I like going to like Pigeon Forge and stuff like that for events. That drive, it ain't 2.5 hours up the road, but it's so nice. I mean, it's just a peaceful, curvy road. If you got something fun to drive, it's great. Even in a daily, I'll be honest with you, I went up 40 with a very predominant member of the hot rod community in a rental caravan, and we got it on 3 wheels going around corners in a rental caravan. Story for another time.
Yeah, and I may have ran the front door of a Cannonball Run attempt in a rental caravan, but it was a Caravan GT. Yes.
That's a beast.
So there may be a follow-up. Let's see, on that one is place you get lost to drive. That's the same routine anywhere around here. If you get lost, you may end up in an episode of Forensic Files.
Welcome to the South.
Yeah, Forensic Files too. Not that we're completely off topic, but they always seem to start at a Home Depot. Like there's somebody there buying
And that's
rope,
why I'm not handy around the house.
rope, a bucket, some Quickcrete. And
I got a funny rope story. I've been looking for an avenue to share this.
I'll go ahead and put my paper down.
I was dating a really nice gal.
Okay.
We'll leave that there. And we were at this little country hardware store, not like a Home Depot or a Lowe's, like not a franchise job. And you know how they sell rope? It's like in buckets. You pull it out and you cut it in length. And they had this little lady, she had her little apron on. She was probably 65, 70 years old. This girl, I'm not going to say she was a stripper, but she had the look and the equipment to pull it off.
She was working her way through school. Go ahead.
We'll go with that. So we're walking around. Needless to say, she's getting a lot of dirty looks from these older people, especially this lady. She followed us around this entire store. I don't remember exactly why we were there, but we stopped right in front of the rope and we were joking about it. And I might have said something. I'll guarantee you I said something off whatever. But anyway, moving on. And the lady asked, is there something I can help you with? She pulled some of this rope out. She said, is this hypoallergenic? And she said, because the last time we were here, the stuff we used, it broke my wrists out real bad. This lady's eyes got as big as damn dinner plates.
Yeah.
And she just turned around, never said another word, and walked off. And we never went back to that store again.
No.
Never.
That was with that nice girl you used to date?
With that, I mean, she's such a sweetheart. I got another funny story about Best Buy, but that's for another time.
See, this is why real world too, and this may end up over the courses, because Rob has to go off and do some incredible stuff that is coming up. But this may end up in one episode a week or whatever else. But we want you to know that, yes, he does actually read the AMAs and ask him anything. So we're going to try and whip through some of these, even though it may end up
taking a week.
That's all right, but just not a week of us idiots talking on 2 red couches. Continue.
Between 2 red chairs.
With nothing to put our drinks.
Yeah, we don't. No.
But we would cover up the world's most expensive Chevy Lumina.
Ever.
All right, so we did driving roads.
Somewhere there's a guy with a Z24 sitting in his garage thinking, asshole.
I know, man, and he's looking at me going, man, how much you want for your Winston Cup car? All right, so I'm going past the long ones because they look like they're really long. But what is your favorite story involving driving in snow? You get much snow down here?
We get a little bit. See, the thing about upstate South Carolina, the mountains block everything from coming to us. So the only time we ever get snow is if like a cold front comes up from Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And usually they're not cold enough for it to really be a problem. And if we do, we get flurries. I mean, just simple. The thing that's crazy about this town, we get an inch of snow, it shuts it down. I have never seen weather girls get so excited about possibly getting 2 or 3 inches in my life, but here in the upstate South Carolina. But we used to have wreckers back in the day. And we had a snatch truck that I drove.
Yeah.
So a snatch truck basically just has a wheel lift on it. And my dad drove, we had a C6500 rollback that he drove. And so I liked the little snatch truck because I could take it out and kind of get around town with it, whatever. And we had snow chains on and all this stuff. Well, my first house was on a hill in front of it, going up like this.
Question: will this be a house with foundation?
It does have. It was on a foundation.
Continue.
So when I drove that wrecker home, keep in mind we had a little bit of ice and snow on the road. Well, I was living on this hill. I'm like, well, I don't want to park in my driveway, and I want to be smart, so I'm going to go down the street, turn around, be pointed out, and pull right on out.
Yep.
Well, I put the truck in front of my house on the side or on the curb, parked on the curb, and I locked the part brake down. It was a manual transmission truck, and I put it in gear, and I took my foot off the brake, and everything seemed fine. And I got out, and I slammed the door, and the truck started sliding back.
Yep.
Off
to the races.
Yes, and it slid about 3 houses, didn't hit a thing, but just slid as straight as it could be, right down. And you couldn't have drove a straight pin in my ass with a sledgehammer at that moment. But didn't hit anything, and I'll be honest with you, I went in, fired my truck up, pulled it right back up the hill, spun a little bit going up the hill, and I parked it. And this time I just nosed it in my yard, like went over the curb and just nosed it in my yard, and it stayed.
Gave it a little traction, or at least if possible.
I mean, how do you fix this problem? I still to this day don't know how I would have done that.
Two things here on this one is it says, what is your favorite story with driving and snow? I don't know what kind of snow he's talking about. We are in the South. And
I was parking in snow.
Oh, okay. Not snow.
No, not.
So, and then, did you know I have a snowplow truck?
Mr. Plow.
Hide your daughters. All right. So, moving on.
It's my nickname in high school.
You know what the name of my dump truck is?
Mr. Dump.
Mr. Dump. I got, hand to God, my friend Dan Dillon. Have you met Dan?
I have met Dan the man.
Okay. Dan Dillon's friend was at Chick-fil-A, Jesus Chicken. And he
Can I get an amen?
PTL, your grandma was a big fan.
Praise the Lord.
So anyhow, God, these are going to take forever. We can knock these out, folks. But
bear with us.
I went to Chick-fil-A in my snowplow truck, and my license plate on my snowplow truck says Mr. Plow. And somebody took a picture of me and put me on Instagram in Chick-fil-A and said, hide your daughters. This guy f***s.
That puts joy in my heart.
There will be a beep right there.
If that was at McDonald's, wouldn't have been the same.
No. My friend, Brian Major, I couldn't pick this guy out of two people, but I do like his question. He said, should I start running Coke out the Florida Key? So that would probably be out of the Florida Keys. And I got a cigar boat and a pilot's license. Could you give maybe Brian some other than hit him up on DM?
Okay.
Could you give him maybe a life lesson here on that?
Well, this is a two-parter. No, Brian, you shouldn't do this. For real, though, if you're looking for a partner, hit me up on Instagram.
Or hit me up on Instagram, whichever one. But your second one?
It's going to be huge. No, I'm just kidding.
What's your second?
That was it. That was a two-parter.
Two-parter? Oh, so
Yeah.
you went from, I
went
it.
from-
And then, well, it became a three-parter.
So a three-part. So I think this camera, don't do it. This camera, do it. If this camera, really
if he
do
doesn't
it.
do it,
I'll do it.
yeah. I'm the friend that never says no. And actually, that's so. All right.
And that's why I like you so much.
And it's real. And like I said, if you want to, here's another one, Rob. Seeing how this one is going to take forever, go ahead and hit him up with one of those welcome back guys and Rabbit Stew's cars, and we're going to pick up where we left off. I don't think they can save ugly over here.
No.
Matt, could you edit this out?
Can you do something? No. He said we could put an emoji of your
I
face.
tell you, when I take my kid into the barber shop, I said this kid's head looked like it wore out 3 bodies already. I got dentist jokes too. My teeth look like a vandalized graveyard.
Oh, it's kind of like the Spice Girls, they're all different shapes, all different colors, and going their own ways. Now we were planning this because we were trying to make it extra special.
Fan.
Me running.
Running.
Perfect too.
Duh.
God.
but still. Damn it, Dan and the fan.
Damn DPD.
Dan, kill the fan.
Damn.
All right, so you ready? And then we get a guy walks in.
Damn, with a catalytic converter. He's got a converter.
We're not buying those right now.
The camera guy's catalytic converter.
Is it off? Is it off your HHR?
Yeah.
The converter's locked up. The old HHR is running like on 2 cylinders.
She's constipated.
Yep. So all right. So where can people see the? Or
we've got some fun roads.
I'm gonna break in. I got one for us. 95 South when we head to Florida.
That's a fun one. That's a good road. Nice straight and goes to Florida.
That's our
When it's cold here, I love it.
So drop that. Let me tell you one. That's the best. It's nice. It's straight, and it goes.
Exactly. Goes to Florida in November when it's cold.
Lay it on them.
warm there.
Is this what do they call it? Damn it! My mind just totally went blank.
I don't know.
We're sensitive skin, like where you
hypoallergenic. I don't
yeah.
know.
Is this
All right, so
hypoallergenic?
start up. So she pulls the rope.
But she pulls the rope out, and she asks this lady,